Hello, hello, hello! Welcome to another episode of the Crispy Compact Communiqué, the shortened version of the Crispy Noodle podcast that we can get to you during the year of our Lord 2020, the crazy coronavirus year where just everything is made up and just every week doesn't matter.
What is it? Everything's made up and the points don't matter.
Yeah, but I'm just going to go with the week doesn't matter because
The week
literally
doesn't matter.
it's just every week it's a whole bunch of new headlines that I never thought would actually be legit if you had told me those same headlines a year earlier. So this is what it is. The Crispy Compact Communiqué, giving you still the most interesting bits in sports, entertainment, and odd news. I'm Rich Liebig.
I'm Mike Stanzo.
And usually to start off the show, we like to do a little bit, kind of personal bit to let you know what we've been up to. But as you can see from our backgrounds, there's definitely one thing that we want to mention, and that was the passing of Regis Philbin. Regis Philbin was the man. First off, I don't know if a lot of people know this. He goes down in the record books as having spent the most time on television.
Wow.
Yeah, did you know that?
No, I know he'd been around for a long, long time on television. I didn't realize he held the actual record for it.
Yep. Between all the shows he did, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and then every day doing live with Regis and Kathy Lee, and then live with Regis and Kelly, he spent a lot of time on TV. And a lot of people, especially for people on the East Coast, New Yorkers, this was like losing a member of the family. So it was just appropriate that we decided to use our Zoom backgrounds to honor the great Regis Philbin. That's the least we can do in this awkward coronavirus time.
Yeah. And it was very shocking to hear about Regis Philbin's passing because he was such a mainstay in the home, both in the morning and in the evening, because I remember as a kid, you'd watch, live with Regis and Kelly or Regis and Kathy Lee, and then you'd watch Who Wants to Be a Millionaire in prime time. And it was like bookend,
And this is going to sound funny, but I really do feel old now.
Oh, yeah.
Because one of the things that they kept replaying was the very first time that Regis gave away the $1 million with John Carpenter.
Yeah.
The guy didn't use a single lifeline going up the whole millionaire ladder.
Until the end, didn't he call somebody?
Yeah, but he didn't need it. He still didn't need it.
Yeah.
He knew the answer. He just called his dad to tell him that he was going to win the $1 million.
Yeah.
And it's funny. Like I didn't think of this, but that was like 20 years ago. So you have kids. Yeah, we're old.
I didn't realize it was that old. What are you doing, Rich?
Right. So like my nieces and nephews had no idea about how big Who Wants to Be a Millionaire truly was.
Oh, it was huge.
Yeah.
It was a game show during prime time that people actually talked about and watched like they would watch dramas and comedies now. Like it was like a mainstay in people's television watching.
Yeah. And internet still really wasn't popular. So this was the thing. You went home and you watched Who Wants to Be a Millionaire with your family, and everyone gathered around the TV, and you were just like, who's gonna hit the million? Somebody's got to do it. And this guy, John Carpenter, excuse me, he did it without a single lifeline, and it was amazing to watch. And I think it was split up into two nights because it was so long. And I just remember that second night, there was such a flurry of excitement because we're all like, is he going to do it? Is he going to be the one to finally make it all the way? And Regis was there every step of the way. And Regis was almost like us. He was so just amazed at how effortlessly he was climbing up that ladder without using a single lifeline.
Yeah.
And also risking considerable amounts of money. This was also, when you start hitting those ladder questions that are more difficult, you would jump from 250 back down to 32,000 if you lost. So we're talking.
Was it 32 or was it 64?
No, it was 32.
Oh, wow.
So we're talking about regular people risking $200,000 worth of money on a single question. And it was just must-see TV, and Regis was there to guide us through it, and he was just the perfect host for Millionaire. I wanted to be Regis so bad. I was like, this guy is cool. He was always stylish. Look at that. He got a great suit and tie and suit combo. And he was just, he had that right mixture of like those crazy outbursts, but he wasn't over the top. And he was very personable, and it was just so much fun to watch. So it was definitely a big blow for, the East Coast, the New York City people, game show fans, to hear Regis had passed away.
Yeah, I didn't think that a whole generation wouldn't know Regis Philbin, but I guess it makes sense. I guess we just take it for granted, his time at Live and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. But
yeah. It made me feel old.
Yeah, well, it's making me feel old now too. Thank you for that.
Sorry, I mean, it's something I had to mention. My nieces and nephews had no idea, stuff like that, and so they were replaying it, the legendary run and everything like that, and some other good sprinkles of Regis's time on Millionaire, and also Jeopardy played the episode where he was on for Celebrity Jeopardy. And that was hilarious because he's like falling behind already in the first round of Jeopardy. And he's like, Alex, my buzzer's not working. Come on, help me out here. Like he had that. He just knew how to take almost any TV situation and make it better.
Yeah.
And the thing I posted, check out my Twitter. One of my favorite bits of all time is Regis hanging out with Borat. It is.
Oh my gosh.
It is gold. I love every second of that clip.
I have to look that up.
Yeah, Regis like dances with Borat. He just totally goes with the jokes. Like there are some.
He does seem like that type of person.
There are some people like when they meet a Sacha Baron Cohen character, they're totally put off. They're like, no, I don't want anything to do with him. I don't want to do any skit with him. But Regis took the ball and ran with the Borat character, and it's hilarious. So go check that out if you can on my Twitter feed. I have the link posted there. So in honor of the great legend Regis Philbin, we're honoring our Zoom backgrounds. This is the least we could do here on the Crispy Compact Communiqué. And it's a good mixture because on mine, Regis is pointing in excitement.
You have a really good one because you have it like perfectly framed. Me, this is the best I could find. He's about to like come up behind me and give me a bear hug or like clap my ears or I don't know what he's gonna do.
Yeah, the spirit of Regis Philbin is about to bop Mike upside the head like the Three Stooges. In his photo. So there you go. Our short little tribute to the great Regis Philbin. A legend. Very, very sad to see the end of an era there. So, all right. Other than that, I think we should just dive right in. There's so much news to get to.
We have a lot to do. So let's just dive right into the first subject. It's sports, of course, has been, even though, we had our doubts about sports starting back.
Some shirts. Oh my God, it's sports.
Apparently I'm drunk. So we had our doubts about.
Oh my God, it's out of control.
We had our doubts about sports starting up again, but all the major leagues are forging ahead despite some bad news coming out of the Eagles camp. Eagles right tackle Lane Johnson tests positive for COVID, and the Eagles had to place a couple of players on the COVID exempt list, the reserve COVID-19 list. The fact that they have a reserve / COVID-19 list for certain players is ridiculous. But already Lane Johnson on this list, joining Nathan Gary, one of our starting linebackers, and offensive tackle Jordan Mailata. So, hopefully that'll clear up before the season. But, it just raises so many questions now. If already before the season, how are players, because football players love to go out, they love to party, they love, it's the very big rosters. How are they going to keep a handle on this?
I have no clue. This is already just off to a weird start.
Players are opting out left and right too.
Yeah, Marquise Goodwin, the Eagles trade chip that they got during the draft. He's said he's out for the season. There's going to be some other names too. We haven't even really come into the full training camp yet, and we already have players dropping out. So,
but
good.
No, it's not looking good. But it's looking, oddly enough, better than baseball, because baseball had the absolute worst possible start to a season ever. It could not have gone worse if they had tried. Rich, what in the hell is happening in the first week of baseball? It's a disaster.
I'm just going to label this segment just the baseball shit show of 2020.
Yeah.
And it's worthy of a curse. It is. This has been such a mess from the start of opening day. It is crazy. Where to begin? All right. So this now seems like the most minor of all the problems, I hate to say.
That's why I organized them that way in the rundown.
Yeah. The Toronto Blue Jays still haven't found a home. We covered this last week that the state of the actual government of Canada refuses to let the Toronto Blue Jays actually play in Canada. They deem it a health risk. So during the last 2 weeks, the Blue Jays have been desperately trying to find a home. And they tried to do Pittsburgh, but Pennsylvania denied them.
Nope.
Now they're trying Baltimore, but they still haven't ironed out the details yet. And because of that, baseball has announced that all Blue Jays games up until August 8th are going to be away games, no matter what the situation is. So they're whether they like it or not, the Toronto Blue Jays are the road warriors.
They are in fact. Yeah, it's just, but it doesn't stop there. I mean, you have that happening. You have players opting out. That's going to be a common occurrence. But then you get this weird thing happening with the Dodgers pitcher, Joe Kelly, being suspended for 8 games, which is now a sixth of the season, if I understand correctly.
Yeah.
After intentionally throwing at the Astros players, which resulted in the benches being cleared. Everybody's rushing on the field to fight, which is not allowed during the pandemic season.
Nope.
So, again, this is all happening in the first week of baseball.
No.
So tell us a little bit about this one.
Yeah. This I have a really big grievance with.
Okay.
Because first off, not only was this very intentional. If you look back at the video, you can clearly see this baseball is going for the head. This is not like, oh, I'm going to hit him on the side. I'm going to hit him on the butt. I'm going to get him in the dirt. This is a missile, 100-mile-per-hour missile going right to this dude's head. All right. It is completely, there is no excuse for it. I don't care. I don't care if the Astros cheated to win the World Series and how you feel about that. It is not an excuse to launch a 100-mile-per-hour fastball at this poor dude's head. All right. And apparently Joe Kelly was actually involved in a previous intentional pitching incident where he was beating Red Sox players. So not only is he doing this, he has a history of doing this.
Nah, get him off the field.
Yeah. So for all the people that are, I'm actually in the minority on this. There's been so many people that have been defending Kelly, which is bizarre to me.
That is bizarre.
Get the hell out of here. This is supposed to be a professional sports organization. You cannot have pitchers throwing 100-mile-per-hour fastballs, whether or not it's purpose or not, because of retaliation for them trying to cheat in the World Series and everything. That is, this is trying to take matters in your own hands, and there's no sport that can allow that.
It's wildly inappropriate. I know that the cheating was serious, but at the end of the day, it doesn't affect that many people. It's not, it's not life or death situation here. But throwing a 100-mile-an-hour fastball at somebody's head, that is a life or death situation. That's putting somebody's health and safety at risk. And for those people, those baseball purists that are like, oh, if you do this, then they're going to get you back. There's that whole like mentality, that pitcher's going to, get even, you want to get even, beat them on the field of play.
Yeah.
That's the best retaliation right there. Show them who's better, beat them. Don't beam them, beat them. That's how you retaliate.
There you go.
That's
New
a
hashtag.
smart way to do it. Yeah.
New hashtag. Beat
hashtag,
them, don't beam them.
Exactly. Because it's such a childish temper tantrum move.
It is. And I can't believe how many I got this on Twitter when I posted my opinion on this. I can't believe the response of everyone saying, well, the Astros, they cheated. They didn't get anything. Well, guess what? I'll agree with you there. The Astros should have got a more severe penalty for cheating in the World Series. But that does not give you the right, absolutely does not give you the right to start pelting players in the head. Absolutely not.
Because it doesn't solve anything.
Yeah. And I can't believe the amount of people that are defending Kelly.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Matter of fact, if anything, I would go with Mike Wilbon. I'd say make it 20 games. Make him out for a third of the season. That's the message.
He's endangering people.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. The Astros, what they did was terrible, and then, it wasn't right, but they're not endangering people's lives. And, say what you want to say, 100-mile-an-hour fastball to the head, who knows what could happen?
Yeah, that's instinct. That's probable. You're talking about grounds for concussion. Like that is
easily a concussion, if not worse.
Yeah, this isn't just like, look, if you're really even going to go down that path, how about like make it like the butt, something that it'll sting, but not do.
Throw it at their legs. Throw it at,
You can't do the head.
You can't aim for the head.
That's don't get me started on whether or not it was accidental. Oh my God. No. This was a straight shot, right? Like the dude had to duck.
Wow.
All right. This was a straight shot to the head. If you don't believe me, look at the slow motion replay of the pitch. It is intentional and it's just uncalled for. And I can't believe people are trying to defend him. I really can't.
That's very upsetting.
Yeah. And just totally not what we need right now.
No.
Again, this is another freaking thing we don't need in 2020.
Baseball should have canceled their season. Further evidence to that point is this next topic.
We're not done yet.
We're not done, folks. Buckle up because it's about to get real crazy.
It's the baseball shit show of 2020.
Nearly the entire Marlins team have tested positive for COVID-19 after their game with the Phillies.
Yeah. Yay,
I wish I was exaggerating, but isn't the count up to like 15 some people?
17.
There you go. I don't know how many people are on a baseball team, but that's a hell of a lot of people though.
Yeah.
So now, correct me if I'm wrong, they're now quarantined in some random hotel in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
They can't leave. The Phillies games and Marlins games now getting postponed. I think they're eventually going to end up getting canceled, right? Because they have to, because baseball, you play almost every other day. How can you quarantine for 2 weeks and just keep pushing games back?
So MLB is saying you can do double headers. You could do a lot of double headers to make up for the games.
Is that what they're planning on doing? But how do we protect against this in the future?
Let me move on to another topic here because that's anybody's guess. So, yes, 17 players on the Miami Marlins have tested positive for coronavirus. For the immediate future, all Marlins games are hereby postponed because they can't field a team yet. And the Phillies, their games have been postponed going into the weekend, which ironically, they were supposed to face the Blue Jays on Saturday. So that is a weird instance that it may have worked out because neither of them can actually.
Neither of them are ready for this.
Yeah, neither of them are actually ready to host a baseball series. So that actually kind of worked out. The thing I can't get out of my head when it comes to this is I think baseball in this sense got lucky that it ended up being a low market, a small market team, the Miami Marlins, a team that doesn't have too many stars, a team that doesn't have too much money going through it, that no offense, I know that they took 2 games out of 3 from us, from the Phillies, but they're a team that has no World Series aspirations. That team is not supposed to make a run for it. So Major League Baseball got lucky that it happened to a team like that.
Yeah.
I can't get out of my head if this happens to a team like the Yankees, the Red Sox.
Yeah.
I don't think you see the same response. I don't think you can tell anybody, even people at home, I don't think you can tell me with a straight face that the response would have been the same thing.
Well, I know they had meetings after there was word of what happened. And that meeting was probably like, all right, who's actually affected? Oh, the Marlins, that's fine. They're not bringing any revenue into MLB anyway. But you're right. If it had been the Yankees, could you imagine postponing 2 weeks of Yankees games?
Yeah.
You know, it would be such a loss in revenue. I don't think MLB would want to do that. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. So again, you know, it's something we all kind of knew in the back of our heads because baseball doesn't have a salary cap, but there are teams where they get special treatment. It's just the way it is. If this happened to the Yankees or Red Sox, we would be talking about the ending, the closure of the season, as opposed to just one team specific schedule. So in Major League Baseball in that respect got lucky. So with all 3 of those news headlines, the Major League Baseball commissioner, he must be busy as hell, because just it seems like every day there's like a new story that just pops up out of nowhere.
This was my argument from the start. I remember months ago, I said, if sports try to restart and they don't do it right, they risk damaging the brand more than if they had canceled the season. Because right now, baseball is a meme. It is a shit show. It is a joke. I can't look at baseball. First off, I never really, my sport was always football. So everything else was secondary to that. But now it's even more of a joke. They're just like throwing darts at a board blindfolded and hoping that something sticks.
They're just hoping that they can put together a 60-game shambles season so they can at least collect the TV and radio local money. But then they can move forward from there.
But baseball purists are all about the integrity of the game. Doesn't this damage the integrity of the game?
Yeah, I would think so.
You're talking about a sport and a fan base that didn't want to implement instant replays and reviews, but they're going to be like, sure, we can just some teams can have a 60-game season. Some teams can have a 52-game season. Some teams can have a home stadium. Some teams can't have a home stadium. Who cares? There's no rules anymore.
Some team can lose 14 players and still put together a team, maybe.
Where's the integrity for the game? I want to hear the baseball purists. Where's the integrity of the game? Yeah. Is it worth it now to watch this shambles of a season? Is anybody having a good time?
Well, obviously not the ones. They're not the fake cardboard cutouts in the stands. Which that's a whole nother thing. I can't believe baseball's doing that.
It's a joke. It's literally a joke. Yeah. Baseball is a joke of a sport right now.
Yeah. So we're just going to have to hope that the NBA and the NHL save us from this sports hell that baseball is in.
The fact that we haven't talked about them is very positive because aren't they in their little bubble cities, little dome cities? They're whatever they're doing.
Yeah. They're about to start their seasons again soon.
But aren't they in one hub location?
Yeah, basketball is in Orlando, somewhere in Florida. I think it's Orlando.
Well, that's a risky place, but okay.
And hockey is in Canada. All the teams are in Canada.
Canada seems like a good choice. Florida, not so much. I don't know why they chose Florida. That seems dangerous.
Well, I think because they were the first state to open sports and stuff like that. That's why
Florida's having a real good time of it.
That's why WWE is doing all their stuff in Orlando at the Performance Center, because they were the first ones to open up to sporting events.
Okay.
Literally, that's why.
They also have all the cases, but that's okay.
All right.
Almost like there's a correlation or something. Anyway.
Such good news.
Such good, cheery news.
Fantastic.
There is some good news, though, because for the past couple of weeks, we've just been spinning our tires with entertainment, but we have actual entertainment news now.
Yay!
We have real entertainment news. The one thing that coronavirus can't stop are awards shows, and they just revealed the list of 2020 Emmys nominees, and there's a lot of big popular shows on there, a couple of our favorite shows on there. Where do you want to start with this, Rich? You just want to dive in and start going over some of our favorite categories?
Yeah. To be honest with you, I think since, we're trying to do a shortened version of the podcast, I think we just do, a handful of shows that I think we just follow and heap praise over. How about that? Does that sound good?
Yeah, let's do that.
Because personally, the thing I want to talk about is the wonderful show Succession.
You with your background changes. Jesus Christ. I can't even with you.
Yes.
So for people that are listening audio only, Rich is like, I can only imagine he's got a whole bunch of slides ready to swap out in his virtual background.
No, I just have this one.
Okay.
I just want to specifically mention Succession because this is a show that I think the first season got a little bit of hype, and I think maybe people finally caught it in the second season, how good this show is. Speaking of which, to those that are watching on the video feed, every single one of these people, every single actor here except for Alan Ruck, sorry, Alan Ruck, got nominated. That's how good this show is. For those who don't know, Succession is the show about a media mogul, wealthy billionaire, FU money type life, who is about to exit the final phase of his career. And during that phase, there's the kids that are trying to win his affection so that he can name a successor, hence Succession. It is amazing. Every single character has great attributes and attributes that are just completely shitty. And it just makes you want to watch because you don't know who's going to backstab who. Every single one has their own character profile. Personally, I love Kieran Culkin. He plays Roman Roy. He has some of the best one-liners in the whole show, and actually all of HBO history, as far as I'm concerned. Obviously, the patriarch, Brian Cox, is fantastic as just this ruthless CEO and owner of his company, and how he doesn't take crap from anybody. The writing is superb. The story is fantastic. I don't, if you have HBO and you have not watched Succession, I don't know what you're doing with your life. And the Emmys, yeah, Mike, get on it. Because for once, an award show got something 100% right as far as I'm concerned. This was well-deserved. I'm so happy that literally every single person in the background of this photo, except for Alan Ruck, sorry, is nominated for an Emmy, and because that's how good this show is. So,
unfortunately, that means they probably won't win because they're splitting the vote. That's usually how it goes. I mean, that's how it happened with Game of Thrones every single year. Don't be salty because Game of Thrones stole all the thunder for the past couple of years.
Nah, fine. You guys had your run. Now it's Succession's turn.
Succession is the successor to the Game of Thrones crown, to the Iron Throne. I have to say,
I think that would be pretty acceptable. It is. I think so. It's an A+ show. I'm not hyping it up. It really is that good.
Here's the thing about HBO shows and the number of awards, I mean, further proves that they make good content. You know, they have a long history of making really outstanding dramas. Watchmen, Succession, both at the top of the list in terms of total nominations. I also have to say that it continues my uncanny ability of calling out shows in This Week in Entertainment that are going to be good and then never watching them myself. So I just want to toot my own horn there. I always do that.
What was it about Watchmen?
Watchmen and Succession. I featured both of them and then never watched them.
Oh, come on, Mike. Yeah, you got to get on that. Watchmen was really good.
I know. I want to watch that.
Watchmen, I caught up the whole thing. And Jeremy Irons was fantastic. His role in that Watchmen TV show was so out there, especially for like the first 5 episodes, because you're not sure where exactly his storyline is supposed to take place in.
Right.
So when he's acting and doing like outrageous things, you don't know like whether or not like, is this normal on the culture that he's supposed to be a part of, or is he supposed to be on our level? And like the whole thing is ridiculous, and I loved every second that he was on the screen. So Jeremy Irons, that was also a well-deserved nomination. And who else did I want to mention on that? There was somebody else I wanted to. Now I'm blanking on the name. Oh well, they'll come to me in a second.
Okay. Well, I wanted to call out some amazing comedies that scored real big in the Emmys. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Schitt's Creek, both with 8 nominations. The Good Place with 5. It would be awesome to see The Good Place win something now that it's officially over.
Yeah, The Good Place.
One of my favorite shows.
Yeah,
the past couple of years.
Show.
Yeah, but again, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel and Schitt's Creek. Schitt's Creek is actually one that I just recently started watching, but both those shows super deserving of all the accolades they get. Both very, very funny and completely different shows. I mean, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is a period piece set in, I guess it's the 50s and 60s. And it's about this female comic who at the time there wasn't a thing as female comics, in stand-up comedy. And it's just really fun to watch. One, the really fast, quick-hitting dialogue, like everything is so snappy, so sharp. And then watching that, and then also following this character journey of this young woman who's trying to go against the grain of society and make a name for herself and sacrifice, family and relationships and her culture in order to try and make a name for herself and the toll that takes on her. So it's this period piece. It's this forward-thinking piece. It's funny. It's got drama. It's got everything you want in a great show. Schitt's Creek is like not the opposite of it, but it's a completely different tact in that it's just completely absurd and ridiculous. It's this wealthy family that falls on hard times, loses everything, and they end up having to live in a motel in a town that they had bought as a joke. And it is absurd. The woman has a wig collection and she nails all the wigs to the wall because there's nowhere to keep her collection of wigs. And every little inconvenience is, they're dying or, oh my God, it's the end of the world, things that people just deal with normally day to day. So both really fantastic laugh out loud comedies. If you haven't seen them, definitely go check them out. What other great shows? Better Call Saul, once again, gets some nominations. That's another one of my absolute favorites on TV right now.
Yeah, it's a shame. It always kind of, in terms of the Emmy nominations, it always kind of slips through the cracks.
It's because it goes up against such stiff competition in that category.
Yep.
So, I mean, for drama, because you mentioned some of the shows, you have Succession for Best Outstanding Drama Series. You have, I just mentioned Better Call Saul. You also have The Crown, a mainstay, Handmaid's Tale, a mainstay, Ozark, which is making a real big name for itself right now, filling in that Breaking Bad gap. Killing Eve, which I've mentioned lots of times before. But the big surprises on here, I think, are Stranger Things and The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Plus. So Stranger Things, I don't know. One of my favorite shows. I don't know if it's best drama material. The Mandalorian, Rich, what do you think? Because I think you enjoyed it a lot more than I did. I thought that was a big shock to get the nomination.
I'm very happy it got the nomination. I think it is a A+ show. And to be honest with you, it's the best thing Disney has going for it in terms of Star Wars.
In terms of Star Wars,
it literally is. There's kind of everything else is kind of they've locked themselves in a big problem, especially in terms of the spin-off movies and possibly continuing any sort of movie making.
Yeah.
But The Mandalorian, they've hit gold on, and it's deserving of that nomination as far as I'm concerned.
The Mandalorian was fun. I just recently finished watching it. I took a long, several month hiatus between episode 6 and finishing the season. It was good. But you know what the thing is? I didn't find myself invested in the characters all that much. Like I don't know, something about
you didn't like Mandalorian? You don't like Baby Yoda?
I mean, Baby Yoda, yes. I think Baby Yoda is the only reason the show is really popular. You put in any other MacGuffin, and I don't think the show works as well.
That's to grab the non-science fiction people. That's what Baby Yoda is there for. That's how I get Rachel to watch The Mandalorian.
You're like, look, Baby Yoda, yeah.
Yeah, that's how she gets to watch it. Yeah, because if it didn't have that, she wouldn't watch it with me.
Yeah. Like I said, it was surprising. It's nice to see Disney Plus get a couple of nominations for The Mandalorian, but it was a surprise to me. I wasn't exactly feeling it personally.
Also, just to go back on the other point I wanted to mention from Watchmen, Regina King as Sister Knight, she was badass. I hope she wins. She played that role just awesome, just pure awesome. It was great. So I hope Regina King gets that one. She deserves that one. So to go back on that.
Yeah. What else is there?
Any other?
Go ahead.
You wanna mention with this? Because
I just want to call out real quick. It's interesting that Apple TV Plus and Disney Plus both got nominations for some of their shows. So if anybody's sleeping on any of those two services, give them a shot. I know I've been having a great time with Disney Plus, watching Hamilton, watching The Mandalorian. When they put out more of their big movies, I'll jump on there and watch those. And Apple TV Plus, I just recently started watching a show that wasn't nominated, but Mythic Quest is basically The Office, but with a video game company. And it features one of the people that starred in Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So it's very, very funny stuff. And I'm happy to see that these services that, at first I doubted Apple TV Plus, but I'm sort of coming around on it. I'm seeing some stuff on there that I might want to watch. And Disney Plus the same way. I'm glad to see that they're not just going for like a quick cash grab like CBS All Access or Peacock.
Yeah.
Like they're really making a go of it. And the Emmy nominations are proof that they're trying to make an actual go of it.
Yep. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think with that in mind, any other Emmy news, you can go and Google with the nominations, see other shows that got nominated. But for us, we listed the big ones that we were interested in. And I'm very happy with the way this turned out. Usually I'm disappointed with award shows because they usually don't have the same taste that I do. But good job, Emmys. I'm happy.
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. And go Succession.
I know this is all because of Succession. That's the only reason.
Yes. I'm thrilled.
There's so many other good shows on there. You make it sound like it's only Succession.
It's Succession's time. It's a fantastic show. I'm glad people are starting to realize it.
Yeah, I do have to jump in on that.
Okay, so we're going to move past the Emmys, and we're not done with entertainment because this is an interesting topic that inadvertently came up on one of our Zoom conversations with friends because that's the way you hang out now is over this interface. And I don't know, I forget even how it started, but I pointed out that there's a difference between plot holes and loose strings.
Loose ends,
yeah. I wanted to get this right because I think I came up with a pretty good definition of this.
Okay.
So I'm going to throw it out there to everyone listening to the podcast, and we'll see if you guys agree with me on this or not. So, all right. There's a difference between a plot hole and a loose end. All right. At least to me, I put them in two different categories. A loose end is something that can be solved pretty quickly, something that can happen. You can reason with off camera. It could be a throwaway line. They are more things that may be a problem, but they're more of like a quirky detail kind of a thing. But, you know, that's something you may notice and you may love to rag on, but they don't actually impact the main focus of the story overall. You can live with a couple loose ends is kind of my reasoning on that.
Okay.
So that's its own category as far as I'm concerned. And then a plot hole is something completely different. To me, a plot hole is something that first can't be solved simply. You have to come up with some sort of complicated or confused response to try and address it. And when you think about it too much, it ruins the movie for you. So I think those are two different categories, but apparently during one of our conversations, people were trying to say that I was wrong. Mike, what say you? Am I speaking somewhat clearly on this, or do you disagree with me?
So all right. I agree with you a little bit. I think, well, hold on. You make a very compelling argument. The only issue that I take with this is that I view them as more being one and the same. Because a loose end is a plot hole until it gets fixed. It's the action of fixing it that makes it a loose end. You can't really split that hair there. The example you gave was C-3PO in Star Wars gets his memory wiped. If they had not had that line, plot hole, but because of the line, let's wipe the protocol droid's memory, it becomes a loose end. So I don't think it's fair to split that hair and say it's just a loose end because it can be explained away. Because any plot, because I'm of the mind that any plot hole can be filled in like that. I have more problem when they ham-fistedly try to cover it up rather than just letting it go to people's suspension of disbelief or headcanon or what have you. So I think they're more one and the same than two separate entities like you want to try to make them be.
Yeah, I would disagree with you. Because it's to me, although although that can be something that happens, that you could turn a plot hole into a loose end. I don't think that's a hard and fast, steady rule. To me, it's more of the experience of how it affects the movie going experience in a way. Like a loose end is like, you know what, you could live with it. You know, it's no big deal. But a plot hole is like, oh my God, how did they not think of that or something?
So I still think that you're describing plot holes that have been filled and plot holes that haven't been filled, because a loose end is like a story strand that was never picked up or never continued. It's like the side characters, like, oh, I wonder whatever happened to them. I don't know, loose end, because there's no tying up at the end. There's no patching up. It just sort of peters off into the distance. But what you're describing here is plot holes that have been filled and plot holes that have been left empty.
Yes, I would also say for the loose end on a secondary character,
because that's what a loose end is, because it's something left unaddressed.
I would say that's fine, because a secondary character shouldn't impact the overall story, I would think.
But that's what I'm saying, is that a loose end is, by its definition, something that's left loose, something that's not tied up.
Yeah, but
so it can't be a loose end and be patched up. What you're describing is a plot hole that's been retroactively fixed.
Well, I'm grading it in terms of impact to the overall experience, not really as to whether or not it gets addressed or not.
So I think you need to redefine your terms then,
because there are some plot holes where, you know, the movie tries to address it, but they don't really do it too well. And then people try and use that as a defense for the plot hole. So
like C-3PO.
Yeah, there's that situation. There's the one about the time travel thing on Harry Potter.
Oh, the time turner?
Time turner.
What about that specifically? I can't remember. I know it was an issue.
Well, to me, that's a plot hole. Like, that is a huge plot hole that Harry and Hermione have access to this time. I keep wanting to say turntable.
Turntable.
What is it? It's
time turner.
Time turner.
I think it's time turner.
They have access to this, and they never use it at all after that point. But then in one of the future books, I think it's the 5th one of the books addresses that you can only use it for a 5-hour span, and then it warps the magical universe. I remember reading something like that. They tried to address it later on.
That's the same thing as C3PO. You just described the same thing as C3PO.
That's not a loose end. That's a major plot hole. Like, you could in theory not have all the Harry Potter books and movies after that because you have access to time travel. You could go back and stop Voldemort and stop this from ever happening. That's a plot hole. That's not a loose end.
Yeah, that's a plot hole, but I think so is the C3PO thing. It is.
Not really.
It is. So the only reason that there's a difference is because they had the benefit of correcting it in the timeline before it happens. What you're arguing with Harry Potter is they had to go back and retroactively fix it. With the Star Wars thing, they had the benefit of having the prequels. So like, oh, it's totally fine because it already happened. No, that's sloppy. That's ineffective. That's a slap in the face to the audience. At least with Harry Potter, it's like, okay, that sort of makes sense because the rules of the universe haven't been properly delineated to that degree.
Don't you think the universe, though, is somewhat explained if you introduce a time travel plot to solve the resolution in the 3rd book? Like, to me, you've already used the object. That's setting the world.
I think Rowling needed to address it in that book. She should have been like, at the end of the book, Dumbledore's like, give me that back. Because,
yoink.
No, because honestly, so you talk about loose ends being solved off screen or being able to be filled in easily. That's the answer. Is that Dumbledore was like, no, this was a really bad idea. I'm going to take that back. That's the simple answer.
Yeah, but that never happens. They never address it.
My whole thing is that loose end and plot hole are one and the same, at least the way that you're describing them. I would argue that loose ends, that you're talking about plot holes that have been filled and plot holes that haven't been filled, and loose ends are a completely separate thing.
Yeah,
that's my stance.
I would disagree. I don't think the completion, I guess is the word I'm looking for, the or a solution to them doesn't necessarily make it the difference between a plot hole or a loose end. To me, it's the scale of how it affects your overall movie going experience, I think.
But I think the C3PO thing would affect it if left unaddressed.
If they never addressed it in the prequel?
Yeah, if they never addressed it in the prequel. I mean, it's getting a huge benefit there in it being a prequel and being able to address it, retroactively, but before the fact.
Mm-hmm. That's also kind of a double-edged sword when it comes to prequels too. I know you like to say you don't like prequels, but
I don't like prequels for that reason.
That's kind of the double-edged sword that you have. You do have some like tick marks that you have to hit during that movie, and in some ways it's bad because it's predictable, but in other ways it's good because it gives you a roadmap that you have to follow a little bit. So that's that's like a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was that, and the other example I gave was Cypher in the Matrix. I'm pissed off by that. I don't understand how people can't see that. Cypher can't, when he goes to meet Agent Smith, he can't have loaded himself alone into the Matrix. It's been established during that whole movie that you need an operator to get you in and out of the Matrix. So who is getting him in and out of the secret meeting with Agent Smith? Doesn't make any sense. That's a plot hole. That affects the entire plot.
Yes, that is a plot hole. I will give you that one because, and again, I'm not saying that there's no such thing as plot holes. I'm arguing that I think you're trying to stratify them more than is necessary.
Yes, I'm trying to create my own system.
Because they're all plot holes. They're all plot holes. Just because it's been solved or there's a conclusion to it doesn't mean that it's not a plot hole. And so I guess my whole thing is that at the end of the day, is the movie about C-3PO's memory or Cypher getting into the Matrix on his own? It's not. It's about Luke's journey. It's about Neo's journey. And these plot holes, they're holes in the plot, but they're not holes in the themes and the mission of the narrative, which in Star Wars is Luke's, quarreling with the light and the dark. And in the Matrix, it's Neo understanding the reality of the world. These plot holes don't affect the plot. They're inconveniences that pull us out of the experience. So therefore they are bad. They're not good. They're sloppy, but they're not damaging.
That's pretty much true. I think that would come down to whether or not your overall enjoyment of the movie.
And a lot of it comes down to personal preference too. Like I headcanon a lot. I fill in a lot of blanks. Cypher doesn't bother me. C-3PO bothered me because they drew attention to it. But like the Eagles in Lord of the Rings, I don't care about that. There's a lot of noise going on in the background.
That's a plot hole.
We're dog sitting Bo.
There you go.
My brother and his girlfriend's dog. But that is a plot hole. But yeah, so it was just a very interesting conversation we had over Zoom and then again over text, and we're recording. Hi. It's okay.
Whoever's there, they have to say hi.
Yeah, it's Rich. We're recording. It's going to be video. So if you don't want to be on video, JB, you want to come over? No. Okay.
No, oh, come on, Bruno. I miss Bruno. Our long lost associate producer.
Our long lost associate producer, yeah. So just like baseball is a shit show, this show has turned into a shit show.
There you go.
But that was plot holes / loose ends / plot inconveniences, whatever you want to call it. Let us know what you guys think. Tweet at us, comment on the videos, send us messages.
Yeah.
Interesting conversation. Just like, I think it all comes down to personal preference, like we mentioned.
Yeah. Let me know if I'm somewhat on the right track with my definitions or if I'm completely off base. Because chances are I probably am off base. But this is my head. I'm just going the way I process things.
It's your analysis and it's your analysis and it's the way that you read the movies.
Yeah. So the bottom line is I think I'm right. All right. So let's move on to our odd news nugget of the week. Of course, I always have an odd news story for everybody just to make you feel better during this crazy coronavirus. And in this story, it is Florida.
Of course it is.
So, Mike, will you do the honors?
Who is that effing guy in Florida? It's Florida, and they're crazy.
Yeah, so Florida making a comeback.
Wow, finally. It's been a while.
In the odd news here. We are going to talk about 22-year-old Stephen Lee Donovan.
Okay.
Stephen Lee Donovan, and I do have his mugshot, so there he is.
Oh, my God.
He's hugging Regis.
You and your video mug shots. People, you really got to watch the videos of these because it's brilliant.
Yeah, so there he is. He's digging Regis.
Okay. What's his name? Stephen Lee whatever?
Stephen Lee Donovan.
Okay, what did he do?
This 22-year-old pizza delivery man was allegedly pleasuring himself Tuesday night while seated behind the wheel of his 96 Honda Civic parked outside a Circle K in Fruitland Park, Florida.
Oh, boy.
So there we go. He's nothing else.
You said the Circle K?
Yeah. It's a Tuesday night. What else are you going to do during coronavirus?
Go down to the Circle K, apparently.
Yeah. While he was pleasuring himself, a woman whose car was parked next to the Honda noticed that the vehicle's sole inhabitant had his hand stroking up and down.
That's the basic gist of it. Yep.
Yep. There you go. That's all in the police report, by the way.
So clinical.
So yeah, we've got all the details in this police report.
Details, very vital information.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that witness was an off-duty cop.
Oh.
So even better, she could actually file the police report too while she's just doing this.
She just pulls out the paper, starts writing it right then and there. Is it like play-by-play commentary at that point, like a transcript of what she's witnessing at that moment?
Probably.
That's impressive.
At this rate, you might as well knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. I don't want to deal with the paperwork tomorrow morning. I might as well take care of this all in one shot.
Get it done. Just get it done. Yeah,
perfect. I'm at the Circle K. Nothing's going on except for this guy rocking his camper over and over. So I might as well take care of this.
Rocking his camper over and over.
Yeah.
Okay.
You like that phrase?
I like that phrase a lot, yeah. Rocking his camper over and over again. Wow, that was, thank you for the man, you're lost without your soundboard, aren't you?
Yeah, this is what I've resorted to. I don't have my soundboard anymore.
Oh my God. I was going to say the most alarming part about the story is the fact that it's at Circle K. Like, what are you looking at? What's the scenery like at Circle K?
Yeah. How many,
Circle K in Florida.
Yeah. What's the visual aids there
on a Tuesday night? Yeah, I know. Right.
Yeah. She's, oh boy, that woman's pumping her gas.
Exactly. Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you get? Oh, what'd you get? You got premium? Oh, yeah.
Ooh, you know how to work it, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, you pump that gas.
Get that premium. The
high octane.
High octane. Yeah, we're talking. So that off-duty cop, she noted all the things down she needed to do. The make, model of car, the license plate, which, by the way, the license plate was Jack R6. Very, very, very close to Jacker.
Yeah.
Which is appropriate.
I feel like that was not a coincidence.
Jack R6.
Yeah.
That's pretty close.
It's Jacker 6.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he wanted.
Yeah. So that's when she called it in to police dispatchers. The cops also got surveillance footage that captured the suspect pulling his pants down and grabbing his genital area.
The area? Oh,
yeah.
He's the whole area.
He's going the whole area. This is
the whole 9 yards.
This is a nice set you got. You got to work everything while you're at the Circle K. You got to.
Oh God.
You got to go.
You got to work. You got to pump that gas.
Yeah. Cops then tracked the vehicle to a residence where they found Donovan, who works for a Hungry Howie's pizza franchise.
Howie's?
Yeah, apparently that's like a little mini franchise in Florida, Hungry Howie's.
Hold on, I gotta look this up. That sounds amazing.
There you go, look it up. He lives with his 20-year-old girlfriend, Maxine Monroe, and it turned out the car belonged to her.
Of course it did. Do you really think this dude had his own car? Come on now. Come on now.
Wow.
He's going to the Circle K for entertainment. You think he has his own car?
Yeah. When Cops was arrested, he became very apologetic. He said that, quote, "I couldn't help myself. I was horny." And then he said,
that much was obvious.
Right. I would hope so. And then that's when he said, quote, "I didn't think touching myself in my car was illegal."
What did he think? All right, whatever.
It's Florida. I thought anything goes.
Anything goes in Florida.
It's Florida. It's coronavirus. I thought all the laws were out the window. I thought
right. It's just anarchy.
Yeah, just do whatever you want.
It's a new world order.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Of course it's no, why would it be illegal? Come on.
I mean, he definitely knew it was. He's just grasping at straws at this point.
Yeah.
He's just trying to save himself.
Yeah. Also, I would not want to be the girlfriend.
No.
Like almost at that point, what was the car? It was a 96 Honda Civic. How about you keep the car? Just
I don't want it back. Yeah.
Yeah. Keep the keys.
Keep the keys.
It's all yours now. All right. Thank you very much.
I feel bad for her. Look at this whole issue that she has to deal with now.
Yeah.
Because now it's like it's her car and it's her boyfriend and it's this police report, this arrest now. It's just dump them, be done with it.
Yeah. Keep the car.
Keep the car.
Keep the keys, keep the car. We're done. Good night.
Do you want to hear the most amazing thing, though?
Uh-oh, you found the website?
I looked up Hungry Howie's, and you know what they're known for? They're known for their flavored crust pizza. It's Hungry Howie's flavored crust pizza. And they have some amazing flavors like garlic herb and sesame, Cajun, onion, ranch, Asiago cheese. Ooh. But then they just have butter.
Butter as a crust?
Butter as a flavored crust. Just butter.
Just butter?
Just butter. They have butter cheese and then also butter.
So is it just like the crust is like covered with butter, or is like butter rolled into the crust?
I don't know. Choose from 8 mouthwatering crust flavors. It doesn't say.
Flavor. It says flavors. I would have
flavored crust. So I guess it's just butter on the crust, like popcorn, like movie popcorn butter. They just squirt it on there.
I guess, yeah. Although I think that would be funny if it was like an actual stick of butter.
Like a stick of butter inside the crust.
How can we make pizza even more unhealthy? Just sticks of butter into the actual crust. Just it right in there.
I'm gonna see if there's any in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, go.
I'm gonna try and get some Hungry Howie's butter crust pizza. Let's see, find a store. Oh wow, Altoona.
Oh, Altoona
and Seaford, Delaware.
Seaford, hey, that's within driving distance.
There you go. There's a couple in Erie out there.
It's a 2-hour drive to Seaford. You can get there.
So there you go. You can get your very own Hungry Howie's pizza.
There you go. You can make it down there.
Yeah, it's only a short 93 miles away.
Yeah, you're fine.
Future order. Let's see. Let's build my own pizza. I want to get this butter crust. I want to see what the butter crust is like.
Yeah, get that butter.
There's also original crust. I'm gonna get the butter crust.
No, don't get original. No, we want
you can get extra butter crust.
Oh my god, extra butter.
There's also butter Cajun. Why is butter like their selling point? They're like, hey, we got butter. We got regular butter. We got butter cheese. We got butter Cajun. It's like,
we're going to stuff your arteries full of butter by the time you leave this damn restaurant.
Other restaurants, they specialize in certain cuisines. Hungry Howie's just specializes in butter.
Yeah. Butter on everything. We're going to put butter in your Coca-Cola.
There you go.
How
butter
about
crust.
Butter Pepsi? Butter
Pepsi. Ew.
Butter ginger ale.
There's 550 locations in 20 states, Rich. The Hungry Howie's is huge.
Oh, well, it's not here. Sorry, if it's not in Philadelphia, it doesn't count.
So it's only a matter of time before we get our own Hungry Howie's. All right?
I'm sorry. I know that's such a Philadelphia attitude, but that's the way I feel. I'm sorry. If you're not in Philadelphia, it's not a major franchise.
You know what the problem is? There's too many good just mom and pop pizza places in southeastern Pennsylvania. Yeah. There's no room for these weird chains. Yeah. You know?
Which also, by the way, support your local restaurants during this coronavirus time.
Absolutely. Order yourself some pizza, but not from like Domino's or like what's that other one? What's the other pizza? Pizza Hut.
Pizza toilet.
Pizza toilet. Wow. Okay then. So we're never getting sponsored by Pizza Hut, apparently.
Yeah. Whoops.
Whoops. So I derailed the story. So you can go ahead and finish now because I got sidetracked with Hungry Howie's.
Okay. Well, at least we found out the mystery of Hungry Howie's.
Yeah.
Sorry, they're not in Philadelphia. They're not a major player as far as
they're not real.
So yeah, the only thing I have left is his charges. He got charged with exposure of sexual organs, which is a misdemeanor. And he was freed after posting a $1,000 bond. So
he's going to be doing it again.
Yeah, he'll be back out there before you know it.
Be back to his gas pumping. What was it? Trailer rocking. What did you say?
Yeah, rocking the trailer. Yeah,
rocking the trailer. Yeah.
So there you go.
Good old Florida.
Yeah, thank you, Florida. Always good to have you. And there you go. That's what I have for you for the odd news nugget. For this week. All right. Before we officially wrap it up, let's go over apocalypse activities, things you can do in the week coming up to keep yourself sane during this crazy coronavirus time. Mike, what do you want to recommend to people?
I've been watching a show that came recommended from you, Upload, on Amazon Prime. Just getting into that. I'm like 4 or 5 episodes in. It's a great blend of comedy, drama, and it has this philosophical bent. It's about, I think you've talked about it on the show before, but the elevator pitches, in the near future, when people die, they can upload their consciousness to, servers, and they can live out a digital afterlife. And it's about that. It's about somebody who dies unexpectedly early on and gets uploaded, maybe not against his will, and maybe or maybe not his death wasn't accidental. We don't know. And it's about how he's transitioning to that digital afterlife, how he's dealing with his relationships outside of the digital afterlife. It's really good. There's a little bit of a mystery element. There's a little bit of comedy, a little bit of philosophy. It's a fantastic show. I'm really glad I jumped into it. And like I mentioned earlier, Mythic Quest on Apple TV Plus. Those are the two shows that I'm watching right now.
Yeah, Upload is basically Soma meets The Office meets The Good Place. That's I think the best blending of how I can describe it. So
yeah, it's weird that Soma's in there, but I definitely see that. Yeah. So yeah, it's funny, it's lighthearted, it's philosophical, but it's strangely dark and kind of sad at times, which I appreciate.
It has a good balance where it has some serious things and then it throws back into something more lighthearted and everything like that.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, definitely a good show. And I think that one's on Prime. So if you got Amazon Prime, you got access to it. So definitely go for it.
What about you? What do you got to recommend to people?
Actually, to be honest with you, I'll just reiterate Succession.
Okay.
Seriously, I love the show. There are 2 seasons in, so you have some time to pour in there, but not too much time.
Right. Get in there while it's still early.
Yeah.
Not like The Sopranos or The Wire, which is like a bunch of seasons.
Yeah, and the second season is really fantastic. Obviously, by the Emmy nominations, it's really starting to find its footing in the world of streaming television. So, props to everyone involved in Succession. I love that show. And yeah, other than that, stay inside, stay cool. It's been hot in Philadelphia, way too hot. I don't like this. I'm ready for fall. I'm ready for winter already.
I haven't even stepped outside in like 3 or 4 days.
It's bad. It is bad outside.
Yeah.
I think we've had 3 heat waves in the span of a month.
Oof.
Yeah. So it's been
stay inside. It's hot. There's a pandemic. There's nothing outside. There's lantern flies. There's a pandemic. It's hot. Just watch TV, play video games, play a board game, read a book.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. But with that in mind and the fact that we're both getting to the end of our drinks here.
I finished mine.
Yeah. It's time to start wrapping this episode up. Thank you guys for watching us online or listening to us on the podcast app of your choice. This is the Crispy Compact Communiqué, the shortened version of the Crispy Noodle podcast during the crazy coronavirus year shenanigan, whatever we're going to freaking call this void in human history.
Just 2020.
Yeah, it's nuts. And every week, I've got to admit, this is now week 17. This is our 17th episode.
But it's been 19 weeks because we missed one and we had the draft.
Yeah, that's right.
This is actually five months.
Yeah, we're actually getting close to 5 months of doing the podcast like this. And yeah, there's still news happening and just bizarre news too. So it is enough to fill an hour podcast. So we got lucky on that front.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for joining us for the ride and following what we do here on the Crispy Noodle. If you like what you heard or saw, make sure you go to our website, thecrispynoodle.com. Make sure that you're following us all over Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, The Crispy Noodle and The Crispy Noodle Podcast, all those fun avenues.
Yeah. And if you're not watching the video, you can also listen to us in the audio format. You can get The Crispy Noodle Podcast and The Crispy Compact Communiqué on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts. Just make sure you search for, download, and subscribe to the Crispy Noodle podcast on the podcast service of your choice.
Yeah, that's right. So if you're driving down to Seaford, Delaware to get that
Hungry Howie's
pizza,
butter pizza,
you can get your butter pizza while listening to us on the podcast app of your choice. We also have a SoundCloud page where we have the mini noodles, the best bits of the show, shrunk down into a quick minute promo clip that you can easily listen to with friends and family, the craziness of our show.
That's right. There's so many ways to get in touch with and share the Crispy Noodle podcast. If you want to get in touch with us individually to share your sports, entertainment, or odd news stories, or to comment on the great plot hole debate that we had this week, you can find us individually on Twitter. I'm at Mike Costanzo, MikeYCostanzo.
And I'm at Rich Liebig, RichLiebig. Find us on the Twitters. Let us know what's happening. And yeah, tell me if I'm somewhat correct on my loose end versus plot hole categories.
Send us your plot holes.
Yeah.
We'll talk about them. Or send us your definitions. Let us know.
Yeah.
We love fan interaction.
Yep. Let us know.
We're desperate for human contact. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. But for right now, it's time to wrap this up. This has been Crispy Compact Communiqué, a offshoot of the Crispy Noodle podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. I think that's going to do it. Anything else, Mike?
No, that's it. Everybody stay cool and stay safe.
All right. So for now, that'll do it. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys
later. Bye-bye.